Hey everyone, Dan here. Before we get into it, if you enjoy these videos, please hit the like and subscribe button and keep in mind that these are my own thoughts, opinions, and ideas. These are not meant to be, nor should you take them as investment or trading advice in any way, shape, or form. Do your own due diligence, put in the work for yourself, and make your decisions based on that. Enjoy. All right, folks, here we have after market close on Wednesday, September 6th. We're going to take an updated look at Lucid. We're going to start here on Webull, put in some additional levels because it looks like it needs it, and then flip over to the Think or Swim study and see where things are situated there. So a few days ago, we were looking at this potential uptrend that it looked like it was trying to hold, and it was coming to a head. I guess I should just say to a wedge, but in colloquial speak, coming to a head in this range here, and we see it sort of really struggle to even hang on to make it to that range, and then dipped below this support level and has once again the last two trading days has reconfirmed that downtrend resistance. So I'm going to get rid of that uptrend support because it's no longer holding, no longer relevant, and we can put in some additional levels here in order to see where we might catch some support between 616 and 681. We see, at least into close today, losing that 616 support and coming in at 610. So we'll see where things are situated for now, and then we may have to zoom in to get some additional levels. We'll see. Okay, I would definitely put a level here. Let's see. Had a little shaky finger there. 607, which in practice, I know I say this all the time, but may act just more like $6, like a psychological $6 level. I'm going to take this 610 off because it's annoying to have those just 3 cents apart. And I know that I just said that, but I do think this 602 could lend some support, but let's just leave it at 607 for now. We'll put the next one down at 598. We see catching the wicks of these candles, near miss there. So not a ton of activity, but anything back here that will help us? Not really. There's some big candles without much else going in. So let's zoom into the 10-minute intraday and see if anything else is sort of dramatically taking shape in this range. So it would mostly be from today. You know, even on the 10-minute, kind of barcodey candles. Ugh, I mean, it's just like it. Everywhere I look, there wants to be a level in between those. Okay, I'll just do it. You see all the wicks of these candles, and then support, wick support, body support, resistance, wick rejections, right? So we'll see if that 612 means much. I'm going to put that as a dash, which just means that it's coming in at a different time frame than the daily, and I'm a little bit more skeptical of that level. So it may not prove as strong as the 616 and the 607. So the way I see the levels at the moment, the strongest levels, 616 to the upside, 607 to the downside, 598, and if we dip below that, then we're going to have to come in and take an additional look and just kind of see what might be forming. But, you know, that gives it a little room to stretch if it's going to come down there. And like I had mentioned, potential for a level to begin to form, though currently I would say it's a little bit weaker, 612. Now, think or swim side of things. We see when it had this push here, popped itself out of the channel. What happens when it pops out of the channel? We look to see if it can ride that wave, but know that eventually it's likely to come down and retest the mid-range of this channel, the bright blue line here, and it did just that, wrestled with that for several days, started to put in all of these trigger candles, and even had some really, big motion, big drop here, big up day here during the trigger. This was an attempted one-day fire candle, but in any case, continued to draw down and then started to fire. So sort of an odd sort of rollout of events there, where it had a bunch of the motion, you know, all of this motion predominantly when it was triggering, and then when it did fire, it's really just been mostly sideways with a little dip here, but then coming right back to where it was when it initially started that. So the only other thing to sort of note here is increasing bearish momentum as we reached the bottom of the channel here. It didn't quite nudge the bottom, but pushed back to the mid-range while we had some declining bearish momentum continuing into today, even though it was a down day again today. And kind of today, at least, shrugging off the mid-range of that channel, which typically when it does that, it means that you should at least be on the lookout for it to push toward the bottom range of the channel like it did here, or here, for example. So is it going to make another attempt toward the bottom range of the channel, which will put around 564, 565, something like that? We'll see. Otherwise, it needs to get support over the mid-range of that channel, situated right now at about, what is that, 635-ish or so. So it would need to really get up and above that and really confirm support over that level for me to feel like it's going to be able to stretch even to this upper mid-range, or certainly to the upper bound. And if it does get to the upper bound way up here, in the mid-8s, starts to enter, at least for the time being, this 180 to 200 EMA cloud, which could provide significant resistance if it were to get there. Obviously, in a downtrend on the daily at the moment. So some obvious things in there, some things are just sort of like keeping an eye on. But here, what I'm most interested in is it needing to find a level that it can base off of, that doesn't just do this, where it bases, hits that downtrend resistance, and then immediately just gives way to it again. So if it does start to move sideways and even bases here just over 6, in several days, once it hits this, what does it do? That is the most critical component to it getting any bullish strength at the moment, in my opinion. Levels are what the levels are, but as long as this downtrend resistance is in place, it can base over all the levels that it wants to. But when it hits it, if it's just going to shove it down, then that's just, continuous overall trend. So that'll be the most critical thing that I'll be looking for as we see where Lucid wants to go in the coming days and weeks. All right, folks, I hope you had a happy hump day. And as always, I appreciate you watching, and I will see you in the next video.